Alright.
Sorry we're late, everybody.
Alright, Dr. Jones?
Here.
Counselor Gwaltney?
Here.
Counselor Allen? Counselor Smith? And Counselor Harden, so we have Allen out, you have 4, you have 1.
Correct.
I make a motion to dispense with the reading and approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Smith, second by Mr. Gwaltney.
Present.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, vote the same, so that's 4-0. 2006-23, starting at the top, request for consideration, city manager. Mainly just wanted to get anyone's thoughts. Do they have anything different than what was presented last time at the last meeting, where we would move to 4 districts, still call them wards or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, still boards.
4 wards,
Oh, 4.
and
I'm sorry.
then the mayor,
District.
as would be elected citywide and be head of the council. And is there any other thoughts that are different from that, or I haven't, no one's flooded my email?
I should say, I haven't heard any different
I would
thoughts.
assume,
I was just gonna ask a quick question
Sure,
about that. I missed a portion of the discussion last week. So are we kind of not considering, sort of the Mountain Brook model, because that's not an approved state model? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, so the Mountain Brook model actually predates the statutory model.
Right.
And it's not really, there's a lot of ambiguity to it. So, yeah, it's not really a city manager is the problem. So
What does Sam Gaston
Sam
do?
Gaston is an administrative appointment of the county.
right.
He's not, he doesn't technically have any powers of a
But
city
he
manager.
he does the role.
He does the role, and the reason it works over there is because they've done it for so long that everyone understands what the role is. But tomorrow, the mayor could show up and say, you know what?
Can't do anything.
You don't have power to do anything.
Okay, okay.
And so even Sam's recommendation
Pretty much
was,
said.
don't do the Mountain Brook model because the Mountain Brook model, it has too many ambiguities in it, and it doesn't have clear lines of whose responsibility is what. So like I said, even Sam was both in talking to our committee and at the Chamber of Commerce.
I was gonna say, he said it
he
on stage.
I
said-
guess really by the Mountain Brook model, I mean, don't they have 5 counselors, or am I wrong about that?
They have 5 counselors.
Okay. And I was just kind of searching for a way to maybe maintain that, not that we need to, but, and
Maintain what? I'm
ju-
sorry,
just
you
the-
lost
Just
me.
that same number of wards.
Oh, yeah,
but
Mount Brook actually doesn't even have wards.
They're all at
These
large.
all
They're
at
all-
large.
They're all
Yeah.
elected
Okay.
citywide.
Yeah.
But for us.
Yeah.
And then their mayor is totally not he's more of a, just a
So it depends on how you view it. Legally, he is the executive authority,
Okay.
period.
Sounds like we don't need really to be
Yeah,
talking about
so
that one anymore.
he has all the authority to do everything from a legal standpoint. Now, if he actually tried to exert that, I don't know what the city of Mountain Brook would do.
Okay.
But Sam's point was, if you're implementing something new, you don't have time to build up that institutional knowledge that they built up over years before the statutory scheme was put in place.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
I actually went into this process thinking that the Mountain Brook model might be something good. After being in it, I really don't think there's much to consider at all with it, because there are too many problems that can come up.
So we're looking at the 4 counselors, ward specific, and then a mayor at large.
Correct.
All serving on a body,
Correct.
a legislative body.
And the mayor would be the president of the council.
Yeah.
I would just like to, in follow-up, I mean, I've thought about, I mean, I'm kind of a fan of 6 versus 4. However, I gather that a lot of people are on board with 4. So it just, regardless of the boundaries, tell me what that process looks like in determining the boundaries in regards to what that is.
Regardless of how many there are.
Yeah, regardless of how many there are. What data is used, who does that? Is that something we should also be thinking of as a cost you know, for some third party to do. What's involved with that?
It is a cost.
Yeah, it's
It is a
gonna,
cost.
there will be some cost associated with it. The idea is that you are trying to get wards that are roughly equitable in terms of numbers. And I think one of the points that I was making last time was, I think it's easier to achieve that going to 4 than going to 6. I think 6, you're basically starting from scratch, and starting from scratch going through that. I think with 4, what we're talking about probably is working with the 4th floor to try to come up with some boundaries that we would then have to verify in some way that they.
The boundaries have to follow census tracts.
Right.
That's the only way you can have reporting about what the demographics are for any particular ward. The last time we did it, the Alabama Reference Service did it for us, and we contracted with them because they can do those things. We can't physically, practically establish ward lines based on census tracts because we don't have that.
So,
How long is that process?
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Assuming they still do it. We haven't done it in 10 years plus, so I don't.
So we don't know exactly because we were getting to this point first.
Okay. Well, and that kind of answers one of my questions, which I was thinking was, it'd be nice to see what it looked like 6 versus 4, but that's an expense, so let's not even.
Correct.
You know, we can make a decision based on the information we have, or the committee can, sorry. Well, I appreciate that, because I want to know how that's going to be decided, especially given that map drawing of late has been under a lot of scrutiny. I just want to make sure
Sure.
that we're doing it in an equitable and third-party way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. That's all.
We'll have the Supreme Court.
Well, if
What the Rights Act requires that you have technically the same number of voters in each ward. And that's not gonna be exactly correct, but it needs to be very close. As close as practice
Needs
is.
to be equitable.
See, he's budgeting and wages.
If
I have to fix it.
if there's not any other discussion, what I'd like to do, because I feel like we need to start moving
Mhm.
on
I
this,
agree.
because there are so many things that are gonna be time sensitive and time consuming. I'd like to make a motion that we recommend using the 4 ward-specific city councilors and the at-large elected mayor serving as the president of the council. Use that format for our city manager.
I think that's called mayor-manager.
The mayor-manager format, is that right?
It's actually.
So you want
Or council
yeah.
mayor, council mayor, yeah,
Sorry.
council mayor, yeah.
So you
Yeah.
want 4 wards and 7 mayors, is that what you said? I'm sorry.
And no
We-
city
we
manager,
needed
because he's
to- we
running
needed-
away.
Yeah.
We needed a comedy break. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I heard you loud and clear. So one mayor and 4 ward.
Yeah, and so what I would, let's see, what I would suggest is, as y'all, whether you move that out for a vote at this point or not, that we move forward with the process of how we're gonna draw those 4 districts, as well as starting to work on the actual language of the referendum that we will ultimately need to approve to put out, hopefully, again, the first quarter of next year. But if everyone's good with this sort of structure, then I think we're ready to start making those plans to try to stay on track with that referendum.
Okay, who seconded that?
I seconded.
Okay.
Because the wards would be in
then,
place, you would know.
It would be the wards would be part of
Of the
the map would
votes.
be part of the referendum.
That's right.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second, and Counselor Allen is here. So, you were on the committee, so thank you for your service. So, any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, by the same sign, it's 5-0.
Councilman, when did you get here? You slipped in on me, right? 20 minutes.
He's
ago.
been
Got
here
about
actually for a while.
5, I guess.
Yeah, he's been standing over there.
Or no, 10 after 5, something like that. All right, were you here for a certain item in finance? Okay, okay. I'll try to breeze through finance. Good.
What do you mean by that?
I mean,
We don't
on
wanna
the
hold you
finance
up.
committee, do you have an item on here?
No, he's here for special issues, I think.
You're here for?
Yeah, especially.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Just wanna move you up if I could. 020823, bid opening set for October 2nd at 4:31. We'll carry that over pending the bid opening. 010923, request set bid date for as-needed drainage pipe rehab. The recommendation is the 30th of October
That's right.
at 4:31.
That's right.
And they're due
That's it,
at 4:30. Okay.
You be talking about the project?
We have 5 Mondays that time, we're gonna have
I'm sorry. I wasn't there.
we're gonna have 5 Mondays in October, we're gonna have a finance.
Let's just have an extra meeting.
Yeah.
Sure, we're here anyway usually. I didn't know if
That's
you knew
fine.
that, if that matters or not.
I
There
did,
won't,
I tried
look at the
to-
there won't be a council or committee meeting on the 30th. If the schedule's.
But you don't have to have a committee meeting to
Yeah,
have.
so
bid
what
opening.
we have usually done in the past, because we only have 4 Mondays in November and one will be Thanksgiving, is we go ahead and do committees on the 30th.
Oh, okay.
And that way we can take Thanksgiving week off.
Okay.
And unless y'all don't wanna do that.
I mean, you don't even have to have a committee meeting that night, you can still do bid opening.
But that way we can do committees on the 30th, a meeting on the 6th, committees on the 13th. Take off the week of the 20th for Thanksgiving and have a meeting on the 27th.
Yeah. All right. Better make it challenging, or complex. Okay, so the 30th, if anybody has any questions about it, I mean, our job tonight would just really to set the bid date. You're welcome to share anything.
When and where's the project?
Yeah, so it's not one identified project. As Berkeley Group goes out and they do TV, using our new truck. A bunch of pipes, we run into, lines that could be rehabilitated either by cured in place liners or spray like we did down here on Park Ridge and La Prado a couple years ago. This sort of follows the Aldott model and Northport model where you just have an annual, contract with the vendor,
For pipe
supplier,
rehab.
contractor. They provide us unit prices, so when Berkeley's guys find 100 linear feet that need to be lined, we can just go directly to them.
God, how do you budget that though?
So it would be paid for out of ARPA money, and we don't have single line items under.
But how do you come up with what the number estimate is based, it's on an as-needed basis, so.
We
you
don't,
just
there's
have
no
to-
guarantee. They would just provide us unit prices for 27.
And then you would come back and say, here's what I'd request from our.
That's right.
Basically, the same way we do paving,
Okay, got it.
very similar to that.
Perfect, perfect. Okay. Well, someone wanna make a motion to have the bid opening date at, the October 30th at, due at 4:30, opening at 4:31?
So moved. Second.
Okay, move on Mr. Gwaltney, second by Mr. Harden. Any other
Allen.
questions? Oh, Counselor Allen, sorry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no, same sign. 5-0. That passes. 020923. Request to amend 22-23 budget to increase vehicle maintenance. This is this is really just a transfer, correct? We're needing to move 1,000 out of shop safety and 1,000 from building grounds into the uniform line item.
Yes, sir. I didn't have a chance. I just brought the email that was sent. They're just requesting a $2,000 transfer within the fleet department to cover their uniform expense, and they're moving it from their shop safety and building and grounds.
Okay. Great.
It's at the very bottom of the email.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to allow them to transfer from the account 0121-571-1000 to for $1,000 each to the shop and safety supplies and building grounds.
Okay, second. Transfer a total of $2,000
By
to the
Counselor
uniform.
Harden, second by Counselor Allen. Any Any questions?
It was
Chief,
who?
you good with it?
It was,
Okay.
John and Carlos.
Well, actually, what it was actually, we piggyback, we added the vehicle maintenance to the last one with Berkeley's that we did past the other night, cause they were totally out of money.
Right.
So instead of waiting, so as it turned out, Gordon needed to make one, so we're using Chief Ross's line item, basically, because y'all added it
That's
to
nice.
the, we added the 29,500, if you remember a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
So anyway.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. 5-0, that passes. 030923, request for consideration to become an official fan guide sponsor for the Birmingham Bowl. Is the request the same as last year, 1188?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, it is 1188, and I gave you the wrong, I gave her the wrong number. Yeah, it is 1188, same
And that's
same
coming out
cost
of
as it
the
was.
advertising, so it's budgeted. It's already, I believe it's
Yeah, and I will
budgeted.
say, just because we just had that discussion about the ad for, Business Alabama last time, and about,
Yeah.
you know, worrying about subsequent to that conversation, Mike, gave me this, order from the state, well, from the AG, actually, that went into effect on March 29th, 2023, or this is when the ruling was made. Cause we had talked about probably needing funds for advertising for the special election, but this, this memo from the AG basically says that no public entity can expend public funds to advocate for a position in a special election. We can only provide informational,
Right.
output. We can tell.
I believe the state code section became effective this year.
Yeah, so,
To advocate for, what'd you call it?
and advocate for a position, like, we can't tell people how they should vote. We can only say, we're having a special election, this is the date, this is the time,
Information purposes.
informational purposes only,
Informational.
right, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so the cost of this, advertisement, and I think this is good for the city, sometimes I don't think things are, but I think if, as long as if an SEC team gets in especially, it's good for our city and our hotels, so 1188 for the cost of that.
Oh, so I had 1880, is that not right?
I gave you the wrong number, that's what I told you, it's the same cost as it was last year, it's 1188. So-
And that's your motion.
Oh, sure, yes, so, sorry.
Barry, like, just for clarification,
Yeah.
the not being able to take a position, that's strictly due to the advertisement, right?
Well, yeah, that just means we cannot, like, my example was when we did the lid bill, and that predated this,
Yeah.
this ruling, we made signs that said vote yes on amendment 1 or whatever. So in this case, now that they have this ruling, if there's a
Yeah.
special election, we can't
You can't say
say
vote yes on
anything
city
like that.
manager.
You can't expend public funds.
We can't expend public funds, yes.
But can
and
we
then
as counselors?
If you wanted to, yes, you could
That's all
spend
I
your
have to
private
get
money to do that.
clarification there.
Yes, if you wanted to spend your private funds to do that, absolutely, yes, you
No,
could.
I just wanna be able to say if
Well, yeah.
which position I'm supposed to be. Like, I'm not coming out of my pocket.
You're all
like,
in.
thank
You can go make all the
Really,
signs
thank
you want to, Mr. Allman. No, you mean, if you wanna say what you feel, yes, absolutely,
Okay,
100%. I
okay.
don't think anybody can take away that, but
It's
you
moved
just can't
by
spend public money to do it.
Mrs. Smith, second by Mr. Gwaltney. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. That passes 5-0. We've got a lot of motions tonight. 040923, request consideration of Cobbs Allen becoming agent of record for employee voluntary benefits, starting in the new fiscal year.
Yeah, we have had a lot of complaints with American Fidelity. We've had a lot of billing issues with American Fidelity. And Cobbs Allen has come to us and have some solutions and offered some recommendations. And in doing so, we found out that the pricing that they have on voluntary employee benefits involves no money of the city whatsoever. It's what the employees elect to purchase outside the city benefits, is about half of what American Fidelity's been charging the employees. We want to ask, I mean, I'm very impressed with what Cobbs Allen has brought to Homewood as far as the way they handle our workers' comp, the way they handle our property damages claims. And if they do that with our employee benefits, I think our employees will be better for it, our voluntary benefits. So we're asking that they be allowed to handle our flexible spending account, as well as, consider all the employees have an opportunity to change to Cobbs Allen with voluntary employee benefits. And also the employees will be allowed to keep anything that they have with American Fidelity on a direct bill basis. So that's what we're asking, that we allow this to happen.
Make a motion for approval. Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Walton, second by Mr. Harden.
I mean, I'll just say, I don't feel
Yep.
that we don't have enough information. I mean, it's great, but I feel like we're being asked to approve it, and I just don't know what we've been provided to be able to make a decision right away.
It's more for the employees, it has nothing to do with the city. It's the benefit that the employees do outside of what the city is. That, trust me, if you have to deal with this, you'd understand what we're asking, cause it's a nightmare.
It's terrible.
It's awful.
So these are
And
the-
I mean, we have people that have gone away and don't do it anymore, and I'm not joking on you, I just.
No,
This
he
information
just
is useful.
requested, he's just asking.
No, and I
like,
understand,
To
it's
get the
just-
information so you can
Yeah.
kind of review it.
Give it a
before
little better,
we-
more informed.
Before we come to.
Or
Yeah.
even more context, right, as to what these are the challenges, these are the benefits, these are even, I'm not saying it's not spending money, I just wanna make sure that we're, again, in the, making sure we're taking care of our employees, what are they gonna be able to receive just as much and
Oh, it'd be, let me say this, it's a whole
That's all.
lot better.
So
So I
that's
said
all I'm
voluntary
saying.
benefit, and the reason I made the motion is because I know a voluntary benefit means that it's a benefit they have the option of choosing, should they want that benefit,
Yeah.
and pay for it out of their own pocket.
That's right.
I also wouldn't expect someone to bring this to us and bring this, something that's going to be negative to
Yeah,
their
we've had like,
themselves,
we've had
essentially.
so many meetings
So-
with, Cobbs Allen and making sure that everybody on the group, everybody would be accepted, cause when you go to a new, we're not in the life insurance is gonna still be with Mutual of Omaha.
Mutual of Omaha,
So-
and Cobbs Allen's a agent of
So
record
no,
of Mutual of
yeah,
Omaha.
so
And
nobody's gonna lose any
disability.
coverage, and it's actually, they were really just shocked at what employees were paying for whole life through American Fidelity, and we've had all kind of problems with the flex, but, I mean, we've met with them 3 or 4 times, but we're under a tight deadline in order to be able to roll it out for open enrollment.
Right, and I understand that, and that was my question, is even if it is voluntary, those voluntary things vary from company to company. So when we're making sure that we're taking care of our employees, I wanna make sure that those voluntary options are still great for the employees we serve, so I was just asking for the information.
Yeah.
Well, just
Well, it
kind
sounds
of the
like-
historical fact
yeah.
about, it was 3 or 4 years ago, the council, looked at bringing Cobbs Allen on as the agent of record for our general liability workers' comp insurance. At that time, Melody and I made the recommendation to use American Fidelity for voluntary benefits. We were very impressed with the company at that time.
Well, we had the presentations
Yeah.
by all of them, and he did a really good job.
Very impressive.
He doesn't work there anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't, yeah.
And since that gentleman has disappeared, their customer service, it's been
That gentleman has
terrible, it's
disappeared.
terrible.
Yeah.
And
You got
so,
APB on
we
it?
didn't go out and seek an alternative. Cobbs Allen came to us and said, we would like to make a presentation. And then, in doing that, their products that they're offering to our customers, the same products, some of the same companies, are half the rates for our employees, the same benefits. And it's almost like, I know there's employees that have quit using the flexible spending account because of the difficulty of getting reimbursed. You have to jump through hoops sometimes to get a reimbursement, where Cobbs Allen, some of the requirements that American Fidelity has, Cobbs Allen says, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna make you submit, receipts for when you buy prescription drugs. We'll just provide you with the reimbursement, so.
And they kind of almost have a conflict of interest on the rates, because American Fidelity, like, they threw in the flexible spending for free for the city, but they make, their prices are high for the whole life insurance that they charge the employees. So they don't really push the Mutual of Omaha, which is the group, but that the employee can piggyback off of a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So they don't really
So
explain
free's not
that
really
part to
free.
them on that. But anybody that doesn't want to leave what they have with American Fidelity can still pay for it on bank draft. And on life insurance, you don't run a pre-tax sit-in cafeteria anyway, because then if you draw from it, it's taxable, whereas
taxable
life insurance
death
normally
benefit.
not taxable.
Okay, well, so for all of the employees sitting out here, have y'all, what is y'all's opinion on American Fidelity?
We're not fans of the library.
Okay. Melanie, you got anything?
I'm okay with like, I mean, I don't use it.
Okay, well, yeah, okay.
We've had some kind of billing from accounting wise, from the billing reconciliation and other is.
Okay,
I know that, me personally.
Yeah.
You get a flex card, just
Yeah.
like a credit card.
yeah,
They cut mine off every every month. They cut it off because I sent in the wrong receipt or I didn't do it right.
Okay.
So I just quit trying to use the card,
Right.
and now I'll photograph my receipts, submit them to them to get reimbursed.
And don't just
You
use
know,
the card.
it just, yeah, they
Okay.
just make,
I
make
mean,
it
and
difficult.
Nelson, the guy at Cobbs Allen was like mortified at how rates that some of our employees are paying for some of their products.
Almar Fidelity's better, we'll go with it.
Thank you for the additional information.
Yes.
That's all I'm asking.
Well, you asked for it, you got it.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
appreciate that.
and just so you know, I try to get as much of this prior to the meeting as possible. I dropped the ball on this and we didn't get this distributed to everybody, so I'll take responsibility for that. It's been motion seconded. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed are the same sign. That's 5-0. And our last item, 050923, request for considering paying tiered year-end bonus contingent upon the city completing fiscal 22-23 with the general fund surplus. And this is what we did last year. These are, we grossed the number up, which means the employee does not have to pay taxes. We pay the taxes and everything, so 1 to 3 years, $350, 4 to 6 years, $500, 7 to 9, $750, 10 to 15, $1,000, 16 to 19, $1,500, and 20 plus $2,000 one-time payment. And you can see the estimated
Great.
cost.
Great.
So that was the actual cost of last fiscal year.
Oh, that's the cost
That's
from
the actual
last-
cost of
yeah.
last fiscal
You
year.
have to run-
And this year, it will be about, and a very good, very rough estimate, about 5% higher this year. So if you approve, as we have in the past, paying employee bonuses up to 360 or 365, it should cover the bonus
Okay.
tiers.
I would make a motion to pay the bonuses contingent on us finishing the year with a surplus up to $365,000.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Smith, second by Counselor Allen. Up to 365.
Up to 365?
Yeah. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. Passes 5-0. Thank you for your work.